Each moment in history is a fleeting time, precious and unique.
Therefore, I shall resign the presidency effective at noon tomorrow.
Welcome back to part 3 of our JAW Media series on Watergate Remembered, 40 years after the fact. This is Javier Aparici, and today in this last segment we are going to talk about, again, the newspapers that I delivered on the day that Nixon first announced his resignation and when he actually resigned. And what's interesting about these newspapers is not so much the story, the Watergate story, because it's so well known, it's been so well documented, you know, who said what, when, etc., etc. You know, those things are not of great interest. But what really draws my attention are the lifestyle issues, you know, the advertisement. You know, leafing through this paper, I saw an advertisement for a house going for $40,000 in suburban Washington. That same house today would probably be in at least the $500,000 range. I saw an advertisement for an AMC Gremlin, what passed for an economical car back 40 years ago.
When American Motors introduced the Gremlin, people found out that it doesn't cost a lot of money to own a car that's fun to drive. The idea has spread all over the country.
And of course, these were horrible, shoddily made defective cars. Not just the Gremlin, the Ford Pinto, the Chevy Vega. And it's also a reflection of the times that, you know, I think the American auto industry back then was not having its best days.
40 cubic inch overhead cam engine.
We would see these Vegas driving by and burning oil, or of course later we found out that the Ford Pinto could explode on impact because of a defective gas tank. These cars have, for the most part, not survived, but they were a major part of that time in history, in the same way that, you know, French made 10-speed bicycles for $70, $80, $90. They were very nice bikes. I remember I had one myself. I had a Peugeot, I think, with the derailleur. And there are many other advertisements in bell-bottom pants. And of course, people had Super 8 cameras. There were no PCs, no computers back then. They were actually advertising typewriters. It was an analog age. It was a completely different time period. The rhythm and pace of life perhaps were slower. There wasn't the immediacy of social media and anything like that. And yet I did keep people informed of what happened by delivering the Washington Star and shouting to anyone within hearing distance, Nixon has resigned. And so that's it. These are my remembrances of Watergate from the standpoint of a paperboy for the Washington Star in Bethesda, Maryland, a suburb of Washington, D.C. Thank you very much. This is Javier Aparici. This is the end of part 3 of our JAW Media series on Watergate Remembered, 40 years after the fact.
Thank you very much.